1. Welcome, everyone. Countdown has been had. The November 3rd Penfield Trails Committee meeting. Nels Carman, my sign providing. We have Andrew Erfitz, Tim Masterton, and Supervisor LaFountain from the town. Board members Ed Lindskog, Eldon Denny Tripp, and Bob Ansaldi. Call to order it is. Approval of the minutes of the our previous meeting, October 6th, right here, 2021. We have Eleanor Hartquist, excellent minutes. She is excused today. I will be taking today's minutes. But gentlemen, please check over our October minutes. And while you're checking them over for additions or corrections, I will mention our next hike, which is Saturday, November 13th. We'll be out by the new fire hall, across from the new fire hall at one of our newer parks called Sherwood Fields. And what Sherwood Fields showcases are two 40-acre plots of a former active farmland, one allowed to continue to go fallow from the old farming effort, 40 acres of it, bisected by the famous Commission ditch, which we will feature historically if you join us at Sherwood Fields, 10 a.m., Saturday, November 13th, and the back 40 acres, which is landscaped and mowed by our Parks Department. So you see a contrasting use of two old 40-acre lots, former farm, bisected by the Commission ditch, which created more arable farmland by a cooperation of East Penfield farmers in the 20s and the 30s, and we'll go over that creation of the Commission ditch if you join us November 13th. Sherwood Fields Park, across from the new fire hall, Penfield Road or Old 441. As you're going toward Gananda, you'll see it. How about our minutes?
Nels, on the minutes, one correction I found is that it should be Penfield Park and not Penfield Place.
And where is that? Which paragraph?
It's about 6 paragraphs down.
Okay.
Penfield Park.
Park. All right, I've got it.
That's the business. That's a business industrial park.
Okay. And contained in our minutes, let me just mention this, were the approval of the 2022 hiking schedule for each month. And that is now an active bookmark. It's printed, and we will begin to distribute it at November 13th, Sherwood Fields Park hike. And then the final hike, December 11th, Saturday, 10 a.m., the 1,000-acre swamp, the only town in North America with a 1,000-acre swamp smack in the middle of it. All right, back to the minutes. A second?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Second from Bob Ansaldi. Thank you. All right, let's review our hike from October 9th, 2021, led by Terry Bruce, one of our staff members, and 4 more of us were there, staffers, and we entertained 35 hikers. As we took them on the back, what was called the old back down, the more scenic portion of our open space at Shadow Pines, and then when the gang returned to us at the Trailhead, we took them on a tour of the front 9 and showed them where it can be Frisbee golf layout when the Frisbee golf groups are encouraged to come in and use it, which they did on a very rainy subsequent weekend.
Now, do they put in baskets or they have portable ones?
It's all portable. I didn't know that, but they bring their stuff set up, they have the tournament, and take it down. So I always wondered, because of the longer established Frisbee golf at Ellison Park, but that's how they do it there.
No, they're
are they permanent?
So currently for that event, they had portable baskets, but they're looking to get approval for permanent ones in the future.
All right,
So just for that event, they had.
And T-spots, too?
And T-spots, yep.
And then the important part was to tell everybody that came on that little tour that one of the things was that you were welcome to come out and watch tournaments, join in tournaments, and you're allowed to play through if you're just hiking. All right, for our upcoming hike, public relations and staffing, I'll be there at Sherwood Park to lead the history part of the commission ditch. So anybody else that can help me at 10 o'clock, November 13th?
I'll give it a try.
Okay, you're certainly
I don't know how
welcome.
far I can go.
And I think Eleanor, who's excused today, said she wanted to be there.
And I'm probably going to be there, so
But you never know about your work schedule, right?
I think I'm okay this time.
Okay, that's that. Eagle Scout project update, still not knowing how the Eagle, or how Scout troops in general are doing in Penfield these days. There used to be, Ed and I were talking, but we're guessing, five troops maybe, Tim, active?
Yeah.
7 troops, Nels.
Oh, and make that distinction,
Seven
Ed.
troops, yeah.
The other 2 troops
4
are?
all-male, 5 all-male troops and 2 all-female troops.
Okay, 7. So Honey Creek still needs some work and a kiosk, and I hope some scout steps up, and I'll say, meet me tomorrow, and we'll get going on it.
You're competing with our Victory Garden, because they've had a lot of scouts working over there.
Maybe that's where they are. Okay. Immediate trails need report again. I walked Honey Creek to make sure that the rubbing post is still there. It is, and that my temporary signs are still up. They are. That would also be part of the project to get the kiosk in, but make some good signboards on both ends. Official-looking, good-looking signboards for Honey Creek.
Just a quick question on that. For Channing Philbrook, when it flooded, does it flood out the trail?
Not too bad. Maybe down towards the horseshoe by the bluffs there, but not up towards the walking bridges and stuff
Okay.
like that. But yeah, more towards the bluffs.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up, Bob, and thanks for responding, Tim. Of course, last weekend, we actually had Verondecoit Creek go over the banks for a number of hours, and you could have seen it if you went to Panorama Plaza rather easily. Verondecoit Creek is wont to do that because it has a big floodplain, and all of Panorama Plaza and all of the old Rothfuss pasture is a floodplain. Conservation Board, Ed, do you know what's going on over there?
The Conservation Board meeting for this month was canceled, but there are 4 properties that they've recently reviewed. LT Farm Subdivision, 1623 Plank Road. Arbors of Penfield, it's on Fairport and Mile Point Road. Pathstone, that's on Fairport and Mile Point Road. And Highland Estates, which is 2745 Penfield Road, and they were also doing an archaeological study on that one. They were required to plow it up and have an archaeologist go through the property to see if there was any artifacts on it.
Like arrowheads?
Anything, yeah, whatever they find.
All right, I'll get that specific information from you for the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, they're meeting in December. They just canceled the November meeting
Right.
for lack of work.
But that information, I want to get it specifically, so I'll put it in the minutes. Thank you. Again, Trailhead Fitness Report. Honey Creek comes up again on that report. Does anybody else? Well, no, we are going to comprehensively work on that this spring to get everything standardized on all of our trailheads. Andy and Tim and I already agreed we would undertake surveys of that in the winter and go to work on the spring.
Tony?
Do you have any, on old business, Ed, is there any more easements?
I'm going to report on that later.
any more easements or updates along those lines?
Right. I had a conversation with Doug Sangster this afternoon. The Shady Park subdivision, the town agreed not to build a trail through there because of they would have to bridge the creek and that. So what Doug referred to me is the town is looking probably to extend sidewalks along 286 on the north side and Scribner Road on the west side. That will accommodate any school children that want to walk the Bay Trail or to Scribner Road School. Harwood Circle was taken care of. That's part of the Shadow Pines plan. That's going to be included in when the trails are built there. Route 286 by the bridge, we need permission from, I think, in writing from the DOT. Jim Costello did get the verbal commission from DOT to extend our trail through Baker Commodities property and along the road there. But I don't know that somebody has to assume liability when you do things like that. And the last one is legacy update, and I just gave the supervisor a letter, and I will read that for the minutes. This was written by a resident. Ed, there are a few notes on the condition of Willowpine legacy trails you requested. I walked the trails from east to west today after 2 heavy rains the previous week. On the hill at the east entrance, the recently graded fine gravel showed a few small gullies where the gravel had washed down to the paved road at the bottom of the hill. A bench at the top of the hill was located in a small pond, perhaps 5 inches deep, and thus unable to be until the ground dries. The path leading from the rear of this bench to a dead end at Katsura Court has been covered with fine gravel, probably sometime in the past 2 weeks. Also, the path that branches south goes up the hill to the apartment complex has recently added more fine gravel. The good news is that the entire path, with one minor exception, is free of standing water, even after the recent heavy rains. The exception is a short, low spot about 100 feet from the west end of the trail. There is standing water along a few feet of the trail, with water covering half the width of the trail. This could easily be improved with a small amount of additional gravel or maybe even some drainage. The third bench at the east end of the trail, as you know, has been knocked off its support by someone's power equipment. As a result, the seat and back are completely intact but resting on the ground. After the heavy rain is resting, it is resting in several inches of water. As a result, the entire bench is beginning to turn green. I suspect if this bench isn't repaired before winter, it may be beyond repair. Perhaps it can possibly properly be restored in the next few weeks and should be temporarily moved to a dry site and properly cleaned. That bench was a memorial to one of the residents, and it's been very shabbily treated by the owners. That's one of the reasons we got this letter generated, to see if we can't put a little pressure on the ownership to get the bench fixed like it should be. It's no way to treat a memorial. That's the end of my report for updates for now.
Could you clarify exactly who?
Well, I'll give you a copy of this.
Whose memorial bench, though?
I don't know. I'd have to go look at it. There is a sign on the bench.
All right.
Yes, but I don't know what family was involved. Three of the benches were memorials.
All right. On our new business part of the agenda, we already began to address our recent weather event, which caused the Rondequoit Creek to flood last week. So that just puts Tim into action as capable and quickly as this Parks Department can to mitigate it. So Tim, compared to other times that area is flooded, was this an easier task?
Just to lay out kind of what happened, obviously we had the big rains, and down behind Tops at our Panorama Valley park there, there's the bridge that goes over to Nelgy, and our DPW actually went down with one of our excavators and cleared all the debris from the what would it be, the east side of the bridge. And it just took a little while for the water to go through the bridge, and it eventually dissipated. After probably in the next couple weeks, we're going to have to go down and clear out the trail next to it, because that was completely underwater. So,
All right, that's Linear Park as we know it, or the Linear Trail, Philbrook Linear Trail.
yeah, that's the trail that goes from Channing Philbrook Park to behind Tops there at Panorama Valley Park.
Paralleling the creek, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Obviously, the kayak launch got flooded too.
Yes. That needs to be regraded out also.
All right, this is where we go to anybody that's got anything open to bring up. It's open floor for the meeting.
I have a question for this fine group. I was looking at the town map, and it appears as though from Rothfuss Park all the way to Thousand Acre Swamp might actually be town property. There might actually be, has anyone ever considered a trail to connecting those two?
Yes, we have.
Is it possible?
It never went anyplace.
Right.
We worked on that probably 10 years ago.
I didn't know if it was total swamp, like that you couldn't do it, or,
Well, Nature Conservancy didn't want us on their property,
okay.
only through the front entrance.
And there were a number of stumbling blocks. In other words,
Yes.
private property backyards. Wilbur's ownership was up in the air. He was trying to move the property. There was a beautiful ambition to go through, but there were just difficulties.
So I can give you a little bit of an update. So just prior to COVID, the Nature Conservancy approached the town with the idea of connecting all that together.
Supervisor?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to run around. That audio channel was not on at the moment.
Okay.
With apologies, could you restart your report?
I will, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just prior to COVID, the Nature Conservancy, a couple representatives came to meet with us to talk about how they might be able to connect all of that. And they had a plan and a sketch that they were looking to do. That was in the late fall. They were going to work on things over the winter and then come back in the spring. And of course, we all know that COVID came back in the spring, and not necessarily those folks from the Nature Conservancy. So I'd be happy to reach back out to that individual that came in. I've got a file with that sketch that they had that they were looking at and proposing, and would be happy to come back to the next Trails Committee, kind of with an update as to where they are with that.
Terrific. Bob?
Glad I brought it up.
One more item while you're there, Mr. Supervisor. Is there a plan in place for trails that are on private property to be maintained during the winter if they need to be plowed?
So I guess before I try to take a stab at that, is there a particular area that I...
Yeah, the Willowpine community.
So I would say, without having the benefit of having a conversation with staff, that might include Mr. Costello, Mr. Masterton, and Mr. Tate, I would say that at this time, that's not on the radar. That's not on the radar to provide plowing for that.
That would be up to the property owner. I
Right.
understand that, but
Correct.
there's probably nothing that tells him that he has to do that. That's my point.
Yeah, so I would guess that there's nothing that in anything that is on file that says that they have to do that.
Because I know Mr. Valentine has said that the new sidewalk that was laid over toward Wegmans is going to be the town's responsibility this winter. It wasn't last winter, but it will be.
Yeah, and
We-
I
we-
look to Mr. Masterton.
Yes, we did plow that last winter.
You did plow
Yep,
it last
we
winter.
did plow it all the way from the main, the Willowpine main entrance to Wegmans.
Well, the reason I bring this up is I've had conversations with some of the neighbors say we have to walk in the road in the winter. Is there any way we can get the trails maintained so that we don't have to walk with our kids in the road in the winter?
We do a couple sections of sidewalk in there. That's probably one of the only subdivisions that we really plow during the wintertime. And we go all the way back to, I don't know the names of all the streets, but we do plow a lot of that part of Willow Pond.
Okay, this is the initial section.
Yeah, we go all the way in, we take a left at, I forget what the name of the road is. We go around to Devonshire, and then we go to Wegmans, then back out towards 441.
Yeah, but this is on the west side of.
And I think we
Willowpine,
go,
right?
yeah, we go past Legacy to that first little circle subdivision on the, it would be
But
on
that's
the,
all the sidewalk there is.
Yes.
The rest of it's all on private property.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, we probably, we would not,
No, you don't have any permission to plow it.
correct.
Anyone else on open floor?
I do. Do you want a copy of my vaccination thing at all?
So Denny, if you have that or would be willing to send that to us.
I got it right here.
Perfect, I'll take that and make that part of our HR file. We'll make a copy and give you your card back, and
All right, all right.
we'll get it to our HR. We've been doing that for our boards and committees.
All right.
So, yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, just a mention it before we close out. Again, our 2022 schedule, monthly schedule for showcasing and escorting trails in Penfield area parks is out, and Supervisors LaFountain suggested we return to the famous indoor hike, which brought other hiking groups to showcase on a Saturday morning, plus a relevant program for 40 minutes and an hour. We're doing it on March 12th. The indoor hike will be right here, and we'll be bringing a very relevant and history of biological conservation lecture here to do a Q&A and a presentation. This is beyond national parks. It is about land use in the past, currently, and in the future, that has some visions to create a larger biodiverse set-aside forest areas, much the same as, by default, our southern tier has returned to forest from the old 1850s, first pioneers that cleared the land and then moved on, and it's reforested like crazy ever since. So stuff like that for the indoor hike, March 12th here at 10 o'clock Saturday. One other mention, we do have openings on the Penfield Trails Committee Board to help us again showcase our trails and parks here in the town of Penfield and make a few meetings, help out, add your two hands and your mind and to the responsibilities of doing it year-round. Not a heavy-duty thing, but it's a community outreach solid program, and you're invited to join us. So, without any
Nels,
further...
one final note.
One final note?
I did have a conversation with Jenny Wilderlink, and she expresses an interest to leave the board, so somebody from the board should probably talk to her officially when our renewal comes up at the first of the year and find out what her current plans are
Right.
and her future plans.
Jenny was a founder of this Penfield Trails Committee in 1996.
That's correct.
So, yeah, Jenny, thank you so much. So, as I say, thank you, folks, for coming out, doing the November meeting. When I rate my Jedi wand around, we are adjourned.